It's a beautiful day today, and we've all take on that hashtag Spekboom challenge, also in the Western Cape, but now we're going to be doing something in Johannesburg.
Absolutely. Tulapiri is going to be coming to us live, taking on the sense of what is going on the ground right now in Johannesburg and how our friends over there are taking to the hashtag Spekboom challenge.
Thank you very much, Kat. A very good morning to you, Expresso family. We are coming to you live from Johannesburg this morning. Now, the Spekboom challenge has pretty much swept the country since January, with various city centres across the country pledging their allegiance to fighting the climate change crisis. Now, Life Green Group is a landscaping company that has various sites across the country, and they've also jumped on the hashtag Spekboom challenge, and they are planning to plant one Spekboom for every 10 metre squares across their sites in the country. And joining me this morning is Life Green Group's CEO, Charles Marais, and he's going to be chatting to us a little bit more about how the country has met the Spekboom challenge. A very warm Expresso welcome to you, Charles, this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, Charles, I'm going to jump straight into it and ask you, why was it important for all the centres, sites to get involved in the Spekboom challenge?
So, to be honest, we've always been aware of the environment and the planting pallets in the new landscaping approach, in that we're looking at water-wise planting, and Spekboom speaks to that. So for us, it is, as an environmental company, important that we drive that process throughout our business. As an example, we've got the platform of numerous sites throughout the country, clients that we are able to influence to improve their gardens and create the Spekboom requirements. So it is really critical to us as a core value to follow this approach. So it's environmental, and it is obviously indigenous, and it's the new theme. It's the way we're not going to go. Yeah.
And how is the group ensured that the Spekbooms get planted responsibly? Because obviously that's very important, right?
So yes, firstly, you can't just use it everywhere. It doesn't necessarily adapt to all regions. We are, in any new developments, any new landscaping, landscape architects are doing designs, and it's all moving more and more indigenous. That's the drive, and we've always had that drive. The landscape architects give you guidelines, and we are then able to utilize it in line with that. All our existing landscaping, we've got the knowledge, we've got the experience to know when to use it wisely and sustainably. So, yeah. It is influenced by the trends and by the people. For example, like I mentioned, the landscape architects, they've got an influence in the entire landscaping environment. So they link with the architects, that's from design stage, and that's the approach we take. We work closely with them on anything new.
And how has this trend been received here in Johannesburg?
It's really been well received. All our clients are asking for it, and we're already ahead of it because we've implemented it over time in their landscaping already. But now we're just using the opportunity to expand it. So the approach to it and the attitude from Johannesburg business, corporate, etc., is extremely positive. Extremely positive. So.
And the trend is also growing in Durban and the Eastern Cape, I hear. How has it been received that side?
So the Eastern Cape is unique in that a large percentage of the Eastern Cape natural vegetation is Spekboom. So any new developments, they are looking at utilising the current indigenous and planting pallets. So you going into all new landscaping is where it matches the surrounds. So it's very, very positive there. KZN, and sorry, to step back to that, it's a very dry climate. So the Spekboom adapts to a drier climate. KZN has got a very much higher rainfall, so it's not necessarily the right plant to plant everywhere, but it is gaining traction in KZN as well. With all the new estates, they're all just environmentally conscious, sustainability, water-wise, so the Spekboom speaks to that. So everybody, our view is across the entire country, we've had a very positive response to this.
So I take it that you would encourage other commercial centres as well as corporates to jump onto this bandwagon and really jump onto the hashtag Spekboom challenge. How would you encourage them to do exactly that?
So we're in the fortunate position where corporate and commercial have got the opportunity to influence a lot of individuals via our platforms So you're influencing your employees, and they ultimately influence their families. So corporate has got an opportunity to gain a lot more traction of this. So it's it's critical that everybody follows the same trend and approaches it in the way that they've got the exposure, they've got the opportunity, and we've got more money that we should be investing in this. So it's very important that they get into this, very.
And Charles, we're talking a little bit off air right now about some of the advantages of Spekboom. Talk to us about some of the practical advantages of planting a Spekboom plant. What are those?
So the practical advantage is firstly water-wise. The second thing is the carbon, that affects the carbon. It's not so much its direct effect. It's the mindset is changing. It's gaining traction and changing people's view on carbon. So the Spekboom is a tool to get the message across. And there's numerous uses, but it's edible as well, which is something that's I don't think it's a dietary opportunity that we can feed multitudes with it, but people are using it in drinks. It's the social vibe. It's what's happening. So. Basically.
So there are various advantages to it.
Yeah, various advantages.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Charles Marais, for sharing that knowledge with us. As you've heard, the Spekboom is a tool. Let's all gather and help fight climate change, but let's do so responsibly. I can't wait to see where this trend grows in the next month, in the next years to come. Definitely exciting times ahead. But for now, it's back to you guys in studio after this.